Nations Championship, folks. The final game was Argentina against Wales. I've watched this one not quite 12 hours after it was kicked off, but pretty late in the piece after all the other games to catch up on, and taking my in-laws out for a little bit today. And Argentina bounced back as I think we kind of expected they would after a poor showing last week against the Scots. 35-21 over Wales. Wales were in the contest, but I think sometimes you just come up against a team who's got you physically. Physical dominance. The commentators mentioned it. Dewey Lake in the post-match mentioned the physical battle. This is one of those games where you just lose the contact, and it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard when you're constantly kind of on the back foot. The Welsh defended like demons as long as they could, but sometimes the Argentinians were just relentless. Neither side was putting in a heap of boot to ball. Still a pretty good game. Most of the tries scored in the first half. The Argentinians might be a little bit disappointed that they brought up their 35 points all within the first 47 minutes and couldn't score basically for the final half an hour, but they'll be pleased to get a bonus point. They'll be pleased to bounce back. The Welsh would have liked that fourth try. They maybe won't like the way the game ended, but yeah, we'll go through the key events and stats of the game, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. Wales had the perfect start. They were able to recapture some of that form from last week and get the maul going after Argentina went offside. Dewey Lake, 3 minutes in, and it's 7 points to 0. The Welsh lads are in front, but the Argentinian reply was just as perfect. And with different style, it was not a maul. It was still a forward scoring at Oviedo, was bloody everywhere, but the Carreras lads combined out left. Some desperation tackling from the Welsh, but then Oviedo on the support line is able to get a try. So 7 points apiece. It's both sides showing a bit of something, which is a good start. But then you could already feel from even the first 10 minutes, the Argentinian carries were all getting over the advantage line. Like Blair Murray had an intercept, but it was like trying to snaffle out the building of the Argentinian momentum. Argentina eventually kind of knocked on, but they had all the go for it. It felt like it was going to be a long day at the office for the Welsh. Then the Argentinians started to go to the air a little bit. They did win an aerial battle. Delguy had a great take against Costello, and they shifted the ball right from that attack. Picado got the second try, and I think Argentina looked a lot better having one of their kind of regular 12s, either Picado or Chocobares at 12. The Argentinian backline just seemed to run a lot better. Picado was also into a bit of everything, a lot of carries, so it's good for him to finish off a try. Now he's back in the side with his top 14 duties done, so 14 points to 7. But again, credit to Wales, man. They never gave up, even though they were, on the back foot for large periods of this game. The Argentinians kind of opened the door for them a little bit by conceding penalties, and it's what you saw Wales do last week against Fiji. They will definitely kick long into territory. Costello's got a pretty big old boot on him, so kick deep. They didn't maul it, which was maybe a nice bit of variation. They got the ball out to the backs. They had some close-range phases. Jack Morgan looked to have gone over from very close range. About a metre out the ruck was right there. But after a all too long, horrendously long TMO look, eventually they ruled it out, saying he was part of the ruck, so he's not eligible to play that ball and score the try as he did. It took them way too long to make that decision. So, try chalked off, and it doesn't even matter because they had advantage anyway. 5 metre tap, and then Reece Carey, who must be a good bet for any time try scorer. If you're having a flutter, he gets another try. He's a hell of a try scoring prop, as old Reece Carey. So 14 points apiece. That's game on. Like the Welsh guys taking their chance is a brilliant bit of execution from them. But then, like I said, Argentina still went back on the front foot. They got held up on 26 minutes. The forwards, were getting a good maul going. The halfback, Gonzalo Garcia, was ripping some really nice passes. Albanoz managed to get past Costello again one-on-one. But the Welsh defence held. Both of them got under the ball, so desperation stuff from Wales. Similar to what we saw last week. When they defend, they can, you can't doubt their hearts. They absolutely always put their bodies on the line. Argentina had a 5 metre line out stolen to another chance. Fluffed, but the next maul chance they had, they finally got it. Marcos Grima. So they had to work for it, the Argentinians, but they just kept coming relentlessly, phase after phase. Like set of phases after set of phases. Eventually the damn wall was going to break, and it did. So too many penalties conceded, and 21 points to 14. The Argentinians are up. They make it double with 28 points to 14, like double the opposition score when they get their fourth one and the bonus point up before half-time. Again, it's a Welsh penalty conceded at the breakdown. It's a bit of a soft one. The forwards go to work. They narrow up the Welsh defence, and eventually, when the space is there, they shift it through the hands, and Santi Carreras is able to score. So bonus point up before half-time. Argentina are a very good value for the lead. They've had 67% territory and 59% possession. They are the dominant side of the two. But Wales, when they have got their chances, have done pretty well. Second half, Wales just stuck in their own half for quite some time. They did concede their fifth try, Wales. But again, it's one where you got to give Wales some credit for not conceding any points after this try, because all the momentum was with the Argentinians, but then also the Welsh maybe a little bit didn't do themselves any favors, because I forget who did it, but it was a Welsh kind of pop pass which lands in the hands of an Argentinian player, and they just immediately go on the front foot. Picardo is able to draw about 3 Welsh defenders. They get a little bit ball watching, and he pops it out to Oviedo on the support line, so he picks up his second try. 35 points to 14 is pretty much game over, but that is the final scoring for Argentina. They did get one denied through the TMO for a knock-on. They had some scrum penalties down in Welsh territory. They had a 5-metre tap. They got held up. So Wales kept defending. Like other sides at 35-14 perhaps roll over, but the Welsh guys just kept going. And eventually Wales kind of stopped, because they'd been kicking quite deep a lot of this game. They kind of stopped kicking long and just kept the ball in hand for a bit. And maybe that caught the Argentinian defenders a little bit by surprise, because Wales were able actually to start to get some go-forward ball of their own. They managed to get some reward from the referee as Argentina started conceding a few penalties. They got a maul going. And eventually, Ben Warren was able to go over from close range for his first ever test try. So 10 minutes of decent Welsh play, and they are rewarded with the third try. They would chase the fourth one, but not able to get it. They had a nice break from their own 22 after more defending, and Reece Zammit looked to have been absolutely taken off the ball, but Paul Williams blows the game up, and that's kind of done. So it sucks that Wales didn't get a chance to chase the fourth try, because it looked like he was absolutely taken off the ball for mine, but I've only watched it the once. Not going to make a difference with the result, but bonus point might have been nice. It would have been 2 bonus points, wouldn't it, if they got a converted try? So that's a bit of a stink way to end the game. Argentina still, I don't want to take it away from them, but dominate the position. And you can tell they dominated the physicality, because both sides had 157 carries. Identical. But the run meters is 534 to 312. The defenders beaten is 32-11, and the clean breaks is 12-3. So doing a ton more with the exact same amount of carries. Turnovers won, that was 8-2 to Wales, so they did defend like demons. Jack Morgan, 22 tackles. Derry Lake, 20 tackles. These are some of your best players at the minute in Wales. Those are both very good lads. Oviedo, 20 carries, 6 defenders beaten. Picardo, 15 carries, 3 defenders beaten, couple of line breaks. Santi Carreras, 15 carries. So right down the kind of spine of that team, your number 8, your number 12, your number 15, all absolutely key men in that side. But yes, very good bounce back win for the Argentinians, who've got England next, who's a bit of a bogey team for them, because even when the teams are relatively evenly matched, or Argentina are ranked above England, they can never seem to beat them. And Wales, you got South Africa. So if you lost the physicality battle to Argentina, you'll need to be prepared for even more against the Springboks. But maybe this is a good test prep for the Welsh lads. You guys let me know your thoughts on the game. That's the Weekend of Nations Championship done. Take care, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.